Okay, you can count down 20 seconds. I'll go on mute and then you'll be live.
Hi, everybody. So we are going live on IG and it's our first time to do this. So please be kind. So we're just waiting for a couple of people to join before we start. And today's topic is quite interesting, very applicable to what's happening right now. It's called Coping Strategies to Manage Stress in Teams. So yeah, and we have a special guest today. So we'll just wait for a couple more minutes and before we start. Okay. So hi, everyone. Welcome to Take 20. We are here to connect with others who are working in the F&B industry to get practical advice on running a fair kitchen. So today we'll be chatting with Chef John Rogers of Ethos Group. Ethos is behind the popular concepts such as Sushi Art, Kebabchi Grill, Tortilla, and Joga. Hi, Chef. Thanks a lot for talking to us today. So I know we're tired of hearing about this, but yeah, it's been a totally rough year for everyone, especially in the F&B industry. So how has it been for you and your team?
Yeah, well, I think it's been tough. It's been a year of growth, first of all, from a personal and professional for the team. I think it was important that when it all happened back in the day, you know, back in March, it feels like a year, like just a lifetime ago now, doesn't it? Really, we made the conscious decision to really try and get the most out of it that we could. So focus on the positives and take the opportunity to grow the team, upskill the team, and really focus on a different side of the kitchen rather than focusing on 100% quality of product and just the product in general. Focusing on each other, making sure we're all okay, because obviously that's had a massive impact. Everyone, regardless of the position that they are, from steward all the way up to the top of the chain, we all have similar problems now, and that's been brought into real focus, especially living in Dubai. Everyone's families across the world, so everyone in the world for the first time in my living memory has similar problems, right? It's, you know, it's across the world.
Yeah, and we were like talking about with some of our friends that it's totally different here in Dubai because, like what you said, we're apart from our families. Most of our people are living alone. So this lockdown, you know, how everything has affected us is really in a different scale. So just to give people context, Chef, like how many people are you managing?
So where I am today, I'm in the central kitchen. I've commandeered the office at the moment. So we have 42 staff over here at the central kitchen, but then group wide across KSA, Bahrain and UAE, we have over 800 staff.
Cool. And you oversee everybody in back of house, like everybody reports to you?
Not directly. We have we're blessed to have a team of brand managers who are they're all very like-minded and forward-thinking. So not all of them, thankfully, not all 800 come directly to me.
Great. So like we were talking yesterday, like these are really important times when it comes to leadership. You know, it's really important, like what you say and how you treat your team. So how are you able to motivate the team despite the challenges and, you know, the present circumstances?
Well, I think the old rule book had to be thrown out the window a little bit in terms of how we operate as an industry. You know, I've come from a tough background in terms of the kitchens that I've worked in when I was growing up. And it used to be a badge of honor. The tougher the kitchen was, the better, you know, you were recognized. And I think that the industry is really making a collective change at the moment. And it's fantastic to have these conversations. And part of that has been to really pay attention to the team and paying attention to understanding their little warning signs, their red flags, to recognize when they're struggling with something. So we can pull them to one side and have a one-on-one chat, whether it's to reassure them about life in general or just to see what they're struggling with that day. For me, it's all about learning the team's red flags massively. Even my own red flags. Even, you know, I'm like most of us chefs. When we're tired, we're stressed out. You know, we kind of deal with things in certain ways, and that's not always the best way for the team. So it's recognizing when you're feeling like that as well. I try and pull myself out of situations and take 5 minutes to myself, whether that's in the office or outside, and just have 5 minutes peace and quiet away from everyone to collect my thoughts. Because I think what gets forgotten a lot of the time is, and people always almost frown upon it for saying it, but you have to look after yourself before you look after your team or others. It's like a classic airplane situation. The masks come down because the oxygen loss. You're always told to put yours on first before you help your family or the surrounding people. And I think when people mention that, you know, you need to put yourself first sometimes, I think that's often frowned upon. And I think there needs to be a shift in mentality for that. Because I know myself, I'm in no fit state to look after my team if I'm not in a good place myself.
And you shared with me something really interesting yesterday, that you take examples from other industries. You know, you're looking at, you know, examples from the Navy. You've shared something about Joko Willink, you know, looking at that and applying it to, you know, to how you run the kitchen. Can you talk to us something about that?
Yeah. So for me, it's been quite a year of transformation, really, across the board, from especially the way that we deal with things in the kitchen. I think that as an industry, we tend historically not to look outside the industry for leadership ideas. And this year, I've spent a lot of time looking outwards from other industries. So, like you mentioned, there's a guy called Joko Willink. He's author of various books around leadership strategies. He's an ex-Navy SEAL. So what I like about the books and his style is that he breaks it down. So he'll give you the examples how he's done it in the military and the Navy from time to time, and then he'll break it down into real life. He's got his own leadership strategy company that'll go in to businesses and teach them leadership on every level. And he'll break it down into the real bones, the granular detail of how these different strategies work. So there's two main people that I've taken inspiration from this year. One of them is Joko Willink, and he, for me, is more about the hard skills, the strategy, and the tactics to move things forward on the ground. And that's probably easier to quantify the results from that. And then there's another one that's even more left field, unexpected than Mr. Willink. There's a lady named Esther Perel. Esther Perel is a world-renowned relationship psychologist. And something that's become very apparent to me is that work is, like everywhere in life, is actually, when you break it down, is just relationships up and down the chain of command. And she's more about the soft side, the soft set of skills that you can't teach people. You have to really, it has to come from within yourself. You have to want to do it yourself. So I'd say Joko's had more of an impact in terms of day-to-day operational stuff with the team, but then Esther has an impact that's more under the radar in terms of our thinking at the kitchen, because I mentioned earlier, you know, coming from a tough background in terms of kitchens, I'm not just going to stand there and say that I've always been like this, because I haven't. You know, I've operated kitchens where we operate on the red line and we push to the limit the team, and the industry operates in a very black and white mindset where it's either good or bad. But the reality is, if we walk through life,
we're plug and play, right?
Exactly. Exactly. If we walk through life in a black and white lens, it'd be pretty dull. And I think we need to make the mindset change. of coming away from that black and white thinking. And yeah, I think it's really key to expand your horizons when it comes to this sort of stuff, and also not to shy away from the hard conversations, because again, as an industry, it's quite a macho industry. I think we can all agree on that, right? And it's almost frowned upon to have these discussions, and that's why I think it's so key to have these, you know, whether it be on Instagram Live, in your kitchens, in your offices, on the street, even wherever you are. I think it's really key to do that.
And it's totally unheard of, especially, I think most especially in this region. I mean, you hear about this, it's being talked about in the States and in Europe because of the number of suicides that's been happening, but you know, you rarely hear about, you know, mental well-being in the kitchen, you know, here in this region. So you said earlier that you've been on both sides of the fence, that you've been the tormentor and now you're the mentor. So what was the turning point for you when you realized that kitchen people also need some nurturing as well?
We opened the central kitchen last year, and that was tough. There was a lot of hard work, and we're coming out to the Middle East, and you had to change the mindset, the strategy in general. Been in the Middle East for 5 years now, so it does go back probably 3, 4, 5 years. But the real shift happened last year with Ethos. My boss, Andy Holman, he's like a mentor for all of us. He has a very nurturing strategy and the great thing with Andy is he's not a dictator.
Right.
So taking my lead from him has had a big part to play as well. But also down to even like, there's a football manager called Jurgen Klopp even. And when we first opened the central kitchen, Jurgen Klopp is known for giving these massive hugs to his team after a football match. Whether they've done good or done bad, it's like a public sign, a showing of support. And for the first 3 months of the kitchen, we were doing really long hours, long days. And me and my sous chef, Andrew, we never left the kitchen. It was intense. And to show our support to each other, it'd be a big handshake and then a big bear hug, and it was like, yeah, great job, guys, great day. And everyone was like, it breaks down the social awkwardness as well sometimes. First time you do it is a bit crazy, but then afterwards it's like it's the norm, you know what I mean? And it becomes accepted. It breaks down the barriers that you're not their boss only. You're always going to be the boss, but you're alongside them. They know that if you ever need anything, you're there to support them. And I think it's key to lead from the front, but to also be able to take that step back in times like this. It's absolutely imperative to be able to prioritize and execute all the problems that we face. And thinking back to the start of COVID when we had lockdowns, I remember the transportation issues were changing every day. You know, we'd get notification at late in the night that Metro stopping tomorrow. That was, you know, a whole different headache. So it's really made us be extremely flexible as well.
Yeah, and empathic to, you know, to what people are going through, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So,
I mean,
so with starting to pick up in the UAE, as we've seen, you know, but I guess for the F&B industry, it's going to take a while because people are trying to recuperate their losses and they're adapting to, you know, to incorporating any change that has been set by the government. So how do you get your team to immediately adapt, you know, to these changes?
It's a good question. Very good question. I think it comes at the end of the day, it comes down from the top. They see that we are. So a part of our strategy, my strategy has changed. In the kitchens that I grew up in, it was the boss. The boss tells you to jump up and down while you're chopping the onion because it tastes good. I'd jump up and down and say, yes, chef. Do whatever I was told to do. But the more I work with the team, the more I take this route of leadership. It's about developing the team and allowing them to take ownership of the plans and strategies, allowing them to understand the end goal, the target.
Right.
Very simply, and allowing them to then formulate the plan even if sometimes I'm not convinced by the plan, as long as it's not mission critical, I'll allow them to do it. And if they fall down, pick them up, just point them in the right direction, see where they've gone wrong with them together. If needed, spend a bit of time with them to get them into the same mindset, this extreme ownership of everything they touch is theirs and they should be proud of it. And it's a tough, it's a tough thing. It's taken a long time to get us to where we are now. But I'm really happy with, thrilled with the team and blessed with the team to have them, that they've got this mindset of everything that they touch is that they're proud of it, and that makes them flexible because they know the path that we're on, and they all see the development path as well.
Right, it's like getting everybody to go to get to the finish line together, right? And exactly. This year is like more like surviving 2020 together. Yeah,
but the thing is, everyone's been in survival mode, but it's important not to forget to thrive.
Right.
Esther Perel talks about not just surviving, but thriving. And you can apply that in all the different walks of life. Kitchens, our strategy has been not just hold what we've got, but how can we gain? What can we do differently? Questioning everything that we're doing. You know, we've done quite a lot of virtual brands this year, but if we've had this survival mindset, we wouldn't have done that. We'd have just kept what we had and defended a little bit. But when you want to thrive and be default aggressive in your strategy, that's when you can really start to thrive and learn and grow. That's the real gold dust.
Yeah, that's beautiful. So before we wrap things up, Chef John, like 5 to 10 years down the line, what are the changes you would like to see on how, kitchens are being managed? It's my Miss Universe question.
It's very, very deep on that one. 5, 10 years. Right now, management styles, hopefully, there's more attention paid to the well-being of staff, number one. Yep. But also growing the mindset of everyone having a voice in the kitchen, and everyone having having a mindset that there's no ceiling, there's no limit to what you can do. The mindset we have here is the only limit to what you can do is yourself. We've had stewards that have joined and they've moved up to commies. I want to see them in 5, 10 years running kitchens and having that same mindset of nurturing the team from the ground up. Because at the end of the day, everyone has their part to play. I'm no more important than my stewards are. They're equally important, if not more important than I am, because they make the magic happen. They allow the chefs to make the magic. Without the stewards, the chefs couldn't make the magic.
True. Yeah, that's why that's why, like, immediately when you told me about Joko Willink, how he kind of compares what he did in the military, and you can apply it in your everyday life. I found it really interesting because in a way, kitchens are run like military, right? There is a direction, there is a certain goal, and everybody has to do their part, in order to make things happen, in order to make the magic happen. So yeah, it's really interesting. And we're going to share the name, the link in the comments below so people can check them out, because it's really, really interesting. And I think it's really, really relevant to our industry. So any last words, Chef John?
I'd like to ask you the same question you've just asked me. What would you like to see in 5, 10 years?
What?
You're very quiet. I'm doing too much talking.
Well, you're the guest. You're the guest. So, I would like to see, more like owners and managers really investing in making the kitchen a more ideal place to work in, and give people good benefits. Because I heard a lot of people. I used to teach like a few years ago, and like out of the 20, let's say in a class, out of the 20, chef students or chef who aspire to be chefs, only like 5 of them are still in the industry, and most of them have changed their course. And a lot of the reasons are, the benefits, the low pay, the long hours, so I would love to see, more fair pay, people actually earning a living wage so they can afford to raise a family, you know, and live their lives. And of course, better kitchens, so people will be more excited to come in and work and put out good food, make magic, you know, for the restaurant. That's my dream.
Absolutely. I love it.
Yeah.
Imagine a world like that. It'd be great, wouldn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah. So there you have it, everyone. So thank you so much, Chef John. It's really, I mean, we really love it when people in the industry, you know, share this initiative with us. And we love, you know, chefs talking about it because it serves an example, as a good example for other kitchens to follow. So guys, the only way to make fair kitchens happen is, you know, we raise awareness, talk about it more. So do reach out to us at our social media pages, Unilever Food Solutions Arabia, and we are Fair Kitchens. And we also have a special link all about Fair Kitchens in our official website, unileverfoodsolutionsarabia.com. Thanks so much. Thank you so much, Chef John.
It's a pleasure. Thank you very much for having me. Have a great day.
Yeah. I'll see you again.
Take it easy.
Bye.